Hi everybody, it's Georgia Rose from Zenkuda, your psychic astrologer, and I wanted to show you the chart of the moment for Sunday, April 12th, headed into the week of April 13th. So we have a really big week in the sky this week. We are going to see a lot of transits and a lot of energy building, and we're headed into a new moon in Aries on the 17th. So first thing I want to bring your attention to is all of these planets right now that we have in the sign of Aries. We've got Mercury, which is actually going in there on the 15th. We've got Mars, Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, and Chiron. And before the week is out, like I said on the 17th, the moon, which is right in Pisces today, is going to be traveling through the zodiac, and it's going to end up in Aries too, creating our new moon in Aries on the 17th. But with all this Aries energy going on, we have so much fire in the sky and so much momentum. It's a great energy to use to start something new, to, set your intention on that new moon on the 17th for something that maybe you've never done before, because Aries is all about new emerging energy. So if you pull your chart on a free website like AstroSeek or astro.com, and you want to look up where this energy is affecting you, you're going to look for this little thing that looks like a V. It's actually symbolic of a ram's head or ram's horns for the sign of Aries, which is the symbol of the ram. And you want to look and see what house Aries is in your chart, because that'll determine which area of life is really affected by this energy. So this energy of all these planets in Aries is going to stay with us throughout the month. And the thing is that there's fast-moving planets in Aries right now. For instance, Mercury, which goes in on I believe the 15th. And then, Mars is also moving quickly. Neptune will stay in Aries for several years, as will Saturn will stay in Aries for a couple of years. But these planets that are moving, and especially when the moon comes in here, and the sun is now in Aries as well, they will transgress across all of the Aries energy. And as the moon goes into Aries, it's going to go by Mercury and Mars and Neptune and Saturn. So that's going to create a changeable energy every time a planet moves across another planet, with them all bunched in that area of the chart. So I'll be doing some quick videos and shorts for you so that you know what to expect from the energy. But for the next couple of days, April 13th, we have Neptune and Mars together. Neptune is this little planet here that looks like a radio antenna, and Mars is this planet with the arrow moving upwards. And that's very easy to remember because Mars is our mojo. It's our gas in the car, so to speak. It's our energy. It is our phone call. It is our energy wanting to move us forward. But with a planet like Neptune right against Mars, which you can see they're both at 2 degrees of Aries, that's going to also be foggy, because Neptune is a planet of illusion, of delusion. And that's why, out in the world right now, we want to move forward and we want things to happen, but we're not really sure what the future is. It's cloudy. We're not really sure what's real and what's not real, what's true and what's not true. And so that's a result of Mars being next to Neptune. And that's an energy we have never had before. Mars and Neptune have not co-joined in Aries probably since the 1300s. So this is a completely new emerging energy, as many of these energies are for us. So in short, what does it mean? It means that in our own lives, we're experiencing things and places and feelings that we've never had before. The planets are really compelling us and also giving us energy that we haven't experienced. So we might feel anxiety, we might feel anxious, we might feel time moving strangely, maybe sometimes speeded up and sometimes slowly, because our nervous system is trying to assimilate to an energy that we've never experienced before. With almost 8 planets in Aries and almost 10 planets by the end of the month, we're really feeling this energy a lot. Aries is not only a new emerging type of energy, that's what the symbolism of the sign is, it's also where we liberate ourselves, where if we have any form of restriction or suppression in our life, our Aries energy is where we really want to break free from it, and we want to have our own independence and our own inner reliability. So you can see how this energy is really potent right now, and many people are setting boundaries in relationships. Aries is definitely a relationship type sign, especially in regards to our relationship with ourselves. So we'll be setting a lot of boundaries in relationships in energy like this, and this will be with us for a long time, with Neptune and Saturn staying there for years, where the boundaries that we set help us in our own self-worth, self-reliability, and independence and liberation. So this is an ending of a lot of prior energy because we have new energy to help us with whatever has been obstacles in the past. So this is a closing of a lot of those obstacles, a closing of a lot of energy that maybe up until now really restricted us from our full potential. In an energy like this, Aries comes in, fire to burn away the debris, burn away the past habits, the past way that we used to do things, and emerge it in a way that we've never experienced before. So it opens us up to some really full potential. And it also opens us up to experience relationship, love, joy, and our own power in ways we never have before. Now, Pluto is still in Aquarius. It will be there for the next 20 years. You can see that right here. It's at 5 degrees. And that's a very significant point in the zodiac this year, because you will see in the months to come, we're going to have a lot of planets making aspects to each other at 5 degrees of a sign. And I'll talk more about that on the Soul Space podcast in the weeks to come. But for now, you want to make sure that you're really also keeping an eye on Pluto in Aquarius in your chart, because as each of these planets transits through Aries, it's going to sextile Pluto, which is an energy of harmony. And Pluto is the transformer. Pluto brings out what's in the dark. So can you imagine that if we have one planet bringing out what's in the dark, and we have so much Aryan energy right now, which is our power, our feeling of being resolute about setting boundaries and coming into our own sovereignty, our own agency, and our own worth. You can see how we're going to have a lot of things come back from our past and a lot of things come up about the ways that we've been living to give us an opportunity to live in a whole completely different way. And if that isn't enough, April 25th, this little planet up here in the final degrees of Taurus goes into Gemini on April 25th. Now it's at 29 degrees, the final degrees of Taurus. Uranus at the final degrees of Taurus is closing up a cycle that we've been in while Uranus transited all those degrees in Taurus since 2018. There's a 7-year energy closing. Now we've had a lot of cycles close so far this year because of all that energy that went into Aries from Saturn and Neptune and Pluto going into Aquarius. Years of the same stagnant energy has been closed and new energy emerging. And that's why things can feel a little overwhelming at times. But I'll be here every step of the way to help you and guide you. Best use of this energy, guys, is to stay grounded. Try and do some kind of a ritual, whether it's meditation or going out and grounding in the earth every day, just so that you have some kind of inner stability to rely on, because this energy is very fast moving. It can be very shocking and unsettling when Uranus finally goes into Gemini on the 25th, and it will stay there for 7 years. And it can also be an energy where we may feel overwhelmed when we look at the past and see some mistakes that we've made. But just remember, the mistakes don't count as much as the enlightenment and the clarity we have to move forward and do things in a different way. I am Georgia Rose, your psychic astrologer. If you'd like a private reading, you can get me on zenkuda.com. And also tune into the Soul Space podcast every Monday night at 7 p.m. on Strong Island Television on YouTube. And of course, if you missed the live, you can watch that show on any podcast platform. And they're always on my own channel on YouTube, Zenkuda. Please subscribe. Thank you so much. I am Georgia Rose, your psychic astrologer, Zenkuda.